All right, Shalom. Lord, when the audio's on point. All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another live lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash. Pray that this quick lesson is edifying. All right, so I tried to find part one to this video, all right, but I couldn't locate it. But in this part two clip here, this Jake, he's going in on this Edomite on his that called on his show. He's going in on what you call so-called white culture. Now, Jeremiah 51:7 tells us that Babylon is responsible for making all the earth drunken through her wine. All right, and really, you know, that wine is Edomite culture. All right, aka Western influence, right, which is responsible for pretty much corrupting the planet Earth. All right, so he makes some real good points that I just was thinking about. It's all spiritual, right? So let's get into it real quick. About 3-minute clip, right? But he's making some points, right? Let me go back there, Salakia. Now hear what he said, right?
Those are white kids.
I do understand.
Those aren't black kids transitioning. What do you mean? The majority homosexuality. It wasn't black men or Indian or Asians who were fighting for fucking gay rights or the ability to marry. That was overwhelmingly
you did get me on
white.
That one.
All of it has been white. Bro.
You did get me on that one.
There's nothing to get you on. I'm not trying to. There's nothing to be shameful of. It's just a fact.
It's because of the white liberal woman, bro. It's not
you can say whatever you want. White liberal women, white whatever. I'm telling you, conservative and liberals, y'all are both gay. It's a part of your culture. It's norm.
What'd you say?
White liberal conservative. It's the same thing, fam. It's the same beast. It's your culture.
See, it's the same beast. It's the same culture, right? So I was thinking about that, man. That's them wines, okay? Them wicked philosophies, them lies. Matter of fact, let me go to the scripture and we'll play it back. But that's the Edomite culture that dominates the planet Earth. This Greco-Roman system, this Greco-Roman culture, right? Just thinking out loud. This is Jeremiah 51. All right, let's go there real quick. Jeremiah 51 in verse 6, and it reads, it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. Yahweh Shem Yahushai's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. All right, for all of the evil and wickedness that Babylon has promoted through the earth, which all goes back to Esau, Edom. Okay, as he was saying, so-called white culture, Edomite culture, man, Western influence, right? Jeremiah 51:7, the point, it says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, Yahweh Shem Yahushai's hand, that made all the earth drunken, right? That made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right, the nations have fallen away from who they are by following and indulging in the philosophies of the whore. All right, taking on the spirit of Babylon. Okay, this is how America, Babylon the Great, has caused these nations to fall away. They're mad. All right, that Western influence, as we always talk about. So this is what he's saying. All right, it's not the liberal, it's not the conservative, it's not the Democrat, it's not the Republican. All right, they're all part of the same beast. You see, and I'm glad he made that point because that's heavy. All right, it's the Edomites, man. Okay, the beast system as a whole. Right? Let's go back. Let me get one more. Matter of fact, we'll play it back again and we'll grab more scriptures, right? Let me go back. Salakia.
Those are white kids.
I do understand.
Those aren't black kids transitioning. What do you mean? The majority homosexuality. It wasn't black men or Indian or Asians who were fighting for fucking gay rights or the ability to marry. That was overwhelmingly white. All of it has been white. Bro.
You did get me on that one.
There's nothing to get you on. I'm not trying to. There's nothing to be shameful of. It's just a fact.
It's because of the white liberal.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely to be shameful of. Right? Let me get that too. And that's why this place is being brought down. This is why this place has been exposed. All right, hated worldwide. Okay, wars being prepared against it. Everything, man. Okay, that shameful spewing, right? Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Okay, Habakkuk 2:16, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also and let thy foreskin be uncovered. All right, this place is being exposed to the core. Okay, and all of that so-called American glory is being brought to shame. Okay, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand, the cup of Yahweh Shemeshah's right hand shall be turned unto thee. And shameful spewing should be on that glory. So everything he's saying, everything that America is about and what Babylon promotes, it's all shameful. It's all detestable, degeneracy, man. To the Moism, transformism, the PDF files, all that. Everything we always talk about, the exposure, the children, the rituals, everything, man. This is all Edomite culture. All right. This is the Western way that's pretty much corrupted the planet, man. And this is why the Lord is bringing it in. And another point too to think about, based off the I'm just thinking out loud, based off the these philosophies that have been pushed, this proves that this is Babylon the Great. This is mystery Babylon the Great. That's America. You see that? That within itself through the Spirit proves that. How can we identify mystery Babylon the Great and prove that it's America? By what? By the philosophies. All right, by the lies. Matter of fact, let's go back and I'll make my point. You see what I'm saying?
Those are white kids.
I do understand.
Those aren't black kids transitioning. What do you mean? The majority homosexuality. It wasn't black men or Indian or Asians who were fighting for fucking gay rights or the ability to marry. That was overwhelmingly
you did get me on that
white.
one.
All of it has been white. Bro.
You did get me on that one.
There's nothing to get you on. I'm not trying to. There's nothing to be shameful of. It's just a fact.
It's because of the white liberal woman, bro. It's not
You can say whatever you want. White liberal women, white whatever. I'm telling you, conservative and liberals, y'all are both gay. It's a part of your culture. It's norm.
What'd you say?
White liberal conservative. It's the same thing, fam. It's the same beast. It's
the same beast. It's your culture. It's the Edomite way. Right? It's the same. It's all part of the same beast. Okay? Because these Edomites, they love to say, well, it's the liberals. They blame it on wokeism. All that bullshit. Republicans, no, they're all in on it. It's all part of it's all part of this system, man. The lies, democracy, religion, okay, idolatry, homosexuality, lies, adultery, covetousness, murder, war, broken treaties, biological warfare, the sword, religion, Christianity. You see what I'm saying? So-called Western imperialism, man. It's all part of the same system. Okay? Let me get this too, right? Before we go back. You know what? We'll just play it through. Let me stop and go. Let me just play it through for once. Right? Let me play it through. Salaki. We'll play it through.
Woman, bro. It's not
you can say whatever you want. White liberal women, white whatever. I'm telling you, conservative and liberals, y'all are both gay. It's a part of your culture. It's norm.
What'd you say?
White liberal conservative. It's the same thing, fam. It's the same beast. It's your culture. Now, in America, you have people who adopt. Hold on, you have people who adopt and engage in your culture because it's American culture, right? It is what it is.
Every single So every single gay black guy, is that part of our culture because we're white and gay?
If you were to see a black guy speaking Japanese, would you say, "Oh, that guy's Japanese," or would you say that's a black guy talking, speaking Japanese?
Don't do this. I'm asking you
I'm asking you a question. If you were to see a black guy speaking Japanese, would you say, "Oh, that's a black guy who knows Japanese," or would you say that's a Japanese person? Of course not. You would say that's a black guy speaking Japanese. Okay. So I see people in the comments who are talking about, what about RuPaul? RuPaul is a black guy engaging in European culture. I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, hey, but then, what he's saying is true though. All right, where's the scripture? Damn, I can't think it off the top of my head. It talks about how the wicked seductive are people. You know, let me see if I can find it. I can't. I know it's in Proverbs, right? But that's what it is. Jake has taken on, fully embraced these ways of America, this Edomite culture, as he's talking about. He's saying white culture, but we know it's Edomite culture, man. That's them wines, all right, that have our people drunken, right? The wicked seductive. I'm just thinking about that real fast. Let me try to find it. You know, that's why the apostles say niggas been in America too long. That's exactly what they're talking about. You know, niggas actually believe that, you know, that they're an American, that they're equal, you know, that their lives matter. You know, you just in America. It's not like that, man. You know, that's why we're trying to get our people to wake up. You know, snap out of this spell, this bullshit. You know, shake yourself from the dust. It's Proverbs 12 and 26. It says the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. So that's what he was saying when he made that comment about, you know, RuPaul and shit, right? The way of the wicked has seduced our people here in America, man. And we always say, have you seen niggas lately, man? Go outside and look at Jake. All right, Jake got different colored eyes. He got blonde, red, and blue hair, tattoos all over his face and body, piercings all in his face, right? That Edomite shit, man. You know, just a flaming mo, you know, just out of the closet with it, prideful with it, man. You know, the black woman fully, you know, indulged in feminism and this debauchery, man. Okay, our people have been seduced by the wicked. All right, let's go back. You know, so like I got a lot of tabs. Here we go.
Person. Of course not. You would say it's a black guy speaking Japanese. Okay. So I see people in the comments who are talking about, what about RuPaul? RuPaul is a black guy engaging in European culture. I don't know. It is what it is. It's not my culture. Y'all the one that set the standards. I didn't set it. I didn't even put out you think in Africa, how many gay African shows you know in Africa? How many RuPauls you got in Africa? How many shows like that? It's not African culture. It's not Black American culture.
There definitely is like a really...
Yeah, that's that Greco-Roman culture. This is how you know this is Rome 2.0. All right? This is Babylon the Great, America. This is how we know, through the spirit. Okay? Nothing new under the sun. All right? The democracy, the Congress, the two-party system, Republican, Democrats, you know, the process of voting, okay, the bread and circus, all right, all those different factors that tie in and prove that Babylon the Great is America, man. All right, the revamp of Rome, okay.
In Africa, how many RuPauls you got in Africa? How many shows like that? It's not African culture. It's not Black American culture.
There definitely is like a really a like gay Muslim culture, but Black culture.
By all means, I don't know. I'm not Muslim, but I'm just telling you, it's European culture. This is what y'all promote.
It's not our culture. No.
It is your culture, fam.
No.
You guys have been doing this since y'all have been around. It was
what
normalized,
are you talking
bro.
about?
Y'all were fucking like the gladiators and shit like that. Y'all the servants and stuff like that. Look it up. It's all well documented.
Hey, but he's cooking. This is true. Hey, you go back and what was that movie that came out years ago? Spartacus. I think it was a series, man. They showed you that shit. Okay, them Romans was dealing with them damn gladiators, man. That Moism bullshit. That's their culture. Look what's going on. What's being promoted now? PDF files, right? How they're shielded from judgment. They can't be you see what I'm saying? All this stuff that's coming out with the feds and the child porn. You know, his infatuation with kids. All right, it's a story just came out in Australia, right? That this Edomite woman ate her 4-year-old son, cooked his ass up and ate him. Cannibalism. So all this shit that's coming out right now, this is the Edomite culture. This is the so-called European way. This is who they are, right? It's all documented, right?
Because there was nothing shameful about it. It was normalized. It's been norm for y'all for quite some time. It's nothing, you know, I mean, they got statues of it.
Oh my God.
I don't know what to tell you.
That is the Greek, Greek shit was very depressing gayness. Yes.
Fam, all of it was gayness, bro. They just didn't depict it like that. Y'all nowadays, there's some of you who are like, oh, this is bad, this is wrong. And like, okay, sure, but this is what y'all been engaging in and practicing this entire time.
So what do you think about Don Lemon?
What about Don Lemon?
Do you think it's from white culture, or do you think
I just asked you a simple question to completely debunk all this Don Lemon, RuPaul. Fam, if you see a black guy talking,
I never said RuPaul. I never said that.
I know, but I'm not saying that you did. I'm just saying as an example. If you see a black guy talking Japanese, is that black guy Japanese, or is he a black guy speaking Japanese? It's as simple as that. Don Lemon,
but don't blame it on white culture. That's all I'm saying.
It is your culture.
Don't blame it on white culture. I'm saying don't blame it on white culture.
It is your culture. I don't understand. It is your culture.
Man, I wish I could have found the whole 2 videos, man. But hey, it's all the spirit though. But like I'm saying, this ties back again to the wines. It's all Edomite culture. All right. Let me get this too. I had this pulled up in the chat. All right. Matter of fact, before we get that, let me get this too in Isaiah. Okay, because it said in Jeremiah 51 that let me go back real quick. It said in Jeremiah 51:7, I'm gonna read it again, right? Jeremiah 51:7, it says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of our wine, therefore the nations are mad. I want to get this word for drunken. Okay, this is why you see, you know, every country looks like an American city. All right, with the commercial fast food chains and that, you know, that whole Western influence. All right, women overseas shaking ass, twerking, you know, the nigga culture, you know, everything, man. All that, all the spirit of Babylon is all over the earth, man. Is the point I'm making, man. All right. This word for drunken, right? Yeah, it says to become drunk or drunken, be intoxicated, right? To make drunken cause to be drunk, right? Let's see what else. Anything in the lexicon? Metaphorically, in the prophets, the wicked are said to be drunken since they rush by a kind of madness upon their own destruction, right? So the Lord gave this place away to pure evil, to his own destruction. But like I said, that the wines caused the people to be drunk, right? Isaiah 19:14, all right? It says the Lord, Yahweh Shai, have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, right? And what kind of spirit is in the midst of spiritual Egypt? America. Okay? It says it have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. You see that? So that's pretty much like the state of the people here, man. Okay, the people in Babylon the Great live in error, man. They're drunken through sin, wickedness. That's the intoxication that the scriptures is talking about. Okay, these people are shit-faced, man, in the spirit. You know, and that's why the Lord gave this place over to this to that demon, to that wickedness, for its destruction. Okay, now going to the chat here, right? This was pretty heavy too, just to add on, because as I watched that clip, I was just thinking about, you know, the wines, and he was saying the so-called white culture was Edomite culture, and I was putting it in the chat of how the wines of Babylon, how they parallel to America today, and this is what we got. Okay, Jeremiah 51:7, as we read, it says, within Jeremiah's historical context, the wine refers metaphorically to Babylon's influence, its power, idolatry, luxury, political domination, and the values it spreads to other nations. See? It says similar imagery appears in Revelation 17 and 18, where the wine symbolizes corrupting influence rather than literal drink, right? So where it talks about how the nations have become mad, it's not talking about a literal drink. It's the spiritual corruption that is pushed, that corrupting influence that is pushed around the four corners of the earth. Right? That's why you see a nation starting to adopt Moism, transformism. Okay, women's rights. Now women are dressing more provocative in certain countries, which at first would never allow that. You know, so that's all part of that corruption. It says, if someone interprets modern America as Babylon the Great, a view held by some Christians but not accepted by all, they often draw parallels like these, right? It says, wine symbolic influence, modern example, or materialism, modern example, the pursuit of wealth, luxury, and consumer culture becoming a dominant value exported worldwide, right? And what's heavy that's pushed around Babylon today? Through social media, these influencers, right? Everybody wants to be an influencer, man, a social media star, in the pursuit of money and wealth, fame, clout. That's the spirit that's here. Materialism, right? Sexual immorality, entertainment and media normalizing pornography, promiscuity, and adultery, right? And that's pushed through what? The movies, the music. Okay, it's all over the media. Okay, these small hats, they own the corn industry. All right, that's a heavy stumbling block that's pushed out here, man. Men are losing their testosterone is at an all-time low. Men are not maturing properly. You see what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I saw an article I had some time ago. Let me pull it up. Right, just dealing with that part of the sexual immorality. Right, let me find it. Right. So this is from the Telegraph. Okay. And I actually got the article pulled up here. This is from the Telegraph. It says the West's greatest weapon in a war with China, online porn. Check that out. So porn is a weapon used against China. It says North Korean troops in Ukraine have reportedly become addicted to pornography. For the West, this could prove a vital military breakthrough. Check that out. See, here's the article here, right? You know, because I couldn't read it from that site, but it says here, this is from the Hindu Stint Times. The Hindu Stint Times. It says the West fight against China, an unlikely weapon emerges: online porn. Okay, because through that corn is how you make the men weak. So this is a tactic of war from the West, right? Amid the geopolitical tensions between the United States and China, analysts have pondered the role of economic sanctions, military might, and strategic alliances. Yet an unexpected tool is now being discussed in some quarters as a potential weak spot for Beijing: online pornography. See? Can't make this up. And like we said, even the further dealing with the sexual immorality, even the Moism and the transformism, right? Let me get that too before we go back to the chat, because I had brought this out before. Even that's a weapon of war. That's part of his sword too. All right. Again, America's first report: pride is a thinly veiled color revolution to destroy Western civilization. All right. I just want to read the quote from the Satanist Edomite down here, first paragraph. It says the term color revolution is often associated with covert efforts among U.S. and European interests to foment civil unrest within enemy nations and sometimes allied nations as a means to destabilize their societies. You see that? So this is what the corn is for. All right, the Moism, All of that shit. All right, it's to bring down your society. Okay, look what they've done to America, right? As a means to destabilize their societies and governments, right? That's why certain shit that America pushes is banned in other countries, man. The food, the shit that they put in the media, all right? That shit is banned in most countries, man. But again, that's those wines. That's the Edomite culture that's being pushed. It is essentially the fourth generation warfare, a concept expanded by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino, a self-professed Satanist, in a white paper titled From PSYOP to Mind War. The goal is straightforward: to go to war against a foreign country, as we just read here, to go to war against a foreign country, right? And what are they doing to the, what are they trying to do? Pushing the corn, right? To weaken the men. You see, it says, the goal is straightforward: to go to war against a foreign country or one's own country by attacking the citizenry rather than its armies, or to exploit the target population as a weapon to trigger instability. Yeah, to break the society down. There you go. So there's no way in hell you can't sit there and say Babylon the Great, man. You see that? Let's go back. All right, again, sexual immorality, entertainment and media, normalizing pornography, promiscuity, and adultery. I know I beat that word up. That's why you see these women. Look at the woman today. Whore, sluts, all right? Adulterers, you know? It says idolatry, elevating celebrities, right? All these stupid ass shows that people watch and follow. Social media, money, technology, political power, or self above God. And a lot of that's pushing the society, the atheism, all right? People openly, boast against the Most High, blaspheme. Moral relativism, the idea that truth and morality are subjective rather than grounded in God's standards. Exactly. And that's what the society pushes. Okay. That anti, let me get that too. Was it 1 John? That spirit is already in the world. Was it 1 John, the 4th chapter? I'm just thinking out loud, 1 John chapter 4 and verse 3. And it reads, 1 John chapter 4, verse 3. And every spirit that confesseth not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of the Most High. And this is the spirit of the anti-Messiah or the Antichrist, whereof you have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. All right. And that spirit is indeed in the world already. Okay. This is why we're in these last days, man. You see the way society has shifted, man. All right. Shit is waxing worse and worse. All right. 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. Perilous times shall come. Men should be lovers of themselves, blasphemers of the Most High, haters of God, all these things that come to mind. But that proves that. Okay. Let's go down. Just want to get through here real quick. Pride, national, cultural, or personal self-exaltation instead of humility before the Most High. Yeah, America's all about pride. All right. What does it say in Jeremiah 50? Shall our power, the vengeance of his temple. Call together the archers against Babylon, all you that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Yeah, that's those missiles, man. All right. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work. Right? Recompense her according to her work, according to all she have done. Do unto her, for she had been proud against the Lord, Yahushua, against the Holy One of Israel. See? It says, therefore shall her young men fall in the streets. All her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. Verse 31, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud. All right. That's Babylon, America, the most proud, the proudest nation on earth. saith the Lord power of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise them up. And I will kindle a fire in the cities, and it should devour all round about him. Yeah, that nuclear destruction is going to end this place, right? Let's go back to read some more here. Violence, entertainment that glorifies revenge, bloodshed, and cruelty. All right, all these things that we see going on today. Okay. Hey, Revelation 6:4, right? That came to mind. He's the man of war. He's the man of violence. It says he wears violence like a garment. Revelation 6:4. And it reads, and there went out another horse that was red. All right. And this red is tied back to Esau, Edom. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And through these philosophies as well, the wines, right? He's taking peace through from the earth, man. Okay. It says, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Yeah, that's his blessing, man, the sword. Okay. So those wines tie into that too, right? Greed, corporate exploitation, predatory lending, and valuing profit over justice. Yeah, shit. You got money in this society, you can buy your way out of murder. Right? You know, the wicked slay them and hold themselves not guilty. You know, everything we see that this is the embodiment of America, man. Babylon. Sorceries, pharmakia. Some interpreters connect this deceptive spiritual practices or misuse of substances. Others limit to occult practices. Yeah, all of that, man. Everything that we always talk about. Okay, the drugs, the rituals, the sorcery, everything, the practices, the occult, masonry. Okay, everything, man. Where's that picture at? Here we go. All that. It says false religion, teachings that distort scripture or replace biblical worship with other ideologies or practices. What do we see today? Transhumanism. Okay, that's one of the main ones. This AI, they're trying to make it a religion, a god. Okay, these ancient occult practices that they're just putting in people's faces. Right? Luxury and excess, a culture of extravagance, while many remain poor, echoing Revelation 18. There you go. Let's see what else we got before we wrap this up. That was a long read there. But it was heavy. Revelation 17:2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, right? Because the kings of the earth had to get in bed with the whore, all right, to receive the aid, the money, the benefits. Okay. Essentially, they had to sell out to America, to Babylon, to get those goodies, so to speak. All right, to get those perks. All right. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Right. So there you go. This expands the metaphor to include spiritual unfaithfulness, political alliances opposed to the Most High, economic corruption, moral compromise. All right. And that decay has spread throughout the world, man, from America. All right. Revelation 18:3, for all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. This portrays Babylon's influence spreading globally through commerce, culture, and alliances. How nations become drunk. The imagery suggests losing sound judgment, right? Like I talked about, these nations have they've strayed away from the path. Okay, they've forgotten their way. Okay, the imagery suggests losing sound judgment because of Babylon's influence. See? As he was talking about in the video, Edomite culture, man, applies symbolically. Examples people point to include nations adopting entertainment that celebrates sinful behavior. See, that's why certain countries don't allow certain shit to be played, man. Music, TV shows, certain foods. Okay. Global consumerism centered on wealth and possessions, right? Covetousness, right? Never being satisfied. Always want to have more and more. Dependence on economic systems that encourage greed. The worldwide spread of pornography through digital technology. All right, and other forms of madness. The export of entertainment, fashion, and celebrity culture that shapes values across nations, right? Political and economic dependence on a dominant world power. Acceptance of practices once widely viewed as morally wrong according to biblical standards. Yeah, that's why I said, these nations are embracing Moism and the whole trans thing. All right. Changing genders and shit. Everything, bestiality. Right. But where does that all go back to? The influence of America through the Edomites. Right. Let's see what else we got. Related scriptures. Yep, these are all good scriptures here. It says, from a biblical perspective, the central idea is that Babylon's wine represents a corrupting influence that entices people and nations away from the faithfulness of the Most High. Whether one identifies that symbolism with ancient Babylon alone, the Roman Empire, a future system, or a modern nation, such as the United States, depends on one's interpretive framework. You see? So it's basically saying that it's America without saying it. Okay? But all these tie together. Babylon, ancient Rome, Greece. Okay? This all goes back to the biblical Edomites, man. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I was thinking about. That'd be it on that. But hey, that's what it is. Those wines, those philosophies, man. So I probably wasn't talking too much, but he was making some heavy points in this video. You know what I mean? So I pray that this this lesson was edifying. All right. So we'll close it out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kakadash. Shalom to the next one. Shalom.